Tonight, 2 people were killed and 4 others have been seriously wounded in a synagogue attack in Britain earlier this morning. Plus,
I look around and I see everybody here and I feel so thankful for all of your support.
A candlelight vigil last night for the victim of a fatal car crash. And London's manufacturing sector prepares to face a future under hostile American tariffs.
CTV News with Lauren Stallone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with a message for manufacturers across the London region. Diversify or die. This comes as they gather to plan strategy during the tariff war. CTV's Bryan Bicknell reports.
At the London area's 2 Armo manufacturing facilities, business is forging ahead, but at an uncertain pace, says President Ben Whitney.
When we quote a project that might be kicked off in 2 months under normal circumstances, 6 months later we're still waiting for a decision.
Armo Tool develops automated or robotic systems for other companies to make their products. In the face of U.S. President Trump's trade war, the company has had to shift gears. That means taking on new contracts it may not have considered in the past.
For instance, we delivered a robotic pizza kitchen that is in the Columbus airport, to defense work, to cannabis edible packaging cell, to our automotive bread and butter.
Whitney was among 1,000 manufacturing professionals from companies across the region taking part in Manufacturing Matters, the largest event of its kind in Canada. This year, the state of global trade resulting in new potential opportunities.
At this conference alone, for the first time, we had companies from Quebec and a delegation from Germany as well, where manufacturers from the state of Niedersachsen were here talking to different local suppliers about potential collaborations and partnerships in the future.
It's a new reality manufacturing-related businesses have had to come to terms with: diversify or become a casualty of the trade war. One business leader says local companies are faring well so far.
There's some new plants, as I mentioned, coming to town. We're not seeing mass layoffs as a whole. Certainly there has been some places affected here and there, but overall the sector's weathering the storm pretty good.
Meantime, a resignation that the Canada-U.S. trade relationship will likely never go back to the way it was.
We're either going to build calluses and capabilities and be able to thrive with things as they are, or things will get a little bit better. But holding your breath and waiting isn't going to work.
Bryan Bicknell, CTV News.
Amazon plans to hire roughly 800 workers here in London ahead of the holidays. It's part of the company's plan to hire 7,000 seasonal employees across the country. Positions will be open in Amazon's fulfillment and sorting centers and delivery stations. Amazon is also increasing its average wage by $1 to $24.50 per hour. For the second time in just 4 days, computer outages at the Canadian Border Services Agency led to delays for travelers at Canadian airports. Today's delay, nothing like one that affected passengers on Sunday. Beth McDonald reports.
Appearing to create long lines, the Canada Border Service Agency outage first knocked out the primary inspection kiosks at Pearson and other airports on Sunday for 10 hours. Today, it happened again for about 3 hours.
I went through the whole process, but then slip came out that says incomplete. So I had to stand in the line to fill up the form and come out.
When I got there, they said that the photo capture was down. So the slip that you normally get, it didn't have our picture on it. But honestly, it was very quick. I got through security and customs very easily.
The purpose of the kiosks are to verify international passengers' identities and for them to declare their travel information. According to Toronto Pearson's website, today's outage didn't hit at a peak travel time. The CBSA says this second outage in 5 days was linked to the system outage on Sunday that was caused by an unforeseen technical problem during routine systems maintenance and was not the result of a cyber attack.
Good we didn't come on Sunday and we came today. When for me it was a smooth sailing, no problem.
The CBSA says when the kiosks went down, travelers were redirected for manual processing. It says safety and security standards are upheld at all times, with border services officers workers working to verify identities, receive declarations, and conduct additional screening warranted. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
We are live on location tonight downtown London, just outside the Covent Garden Market in Market Square. Now, an important event is coming up here this Saturday. We're joined by Anne Robson from the Beckett Project. Anne experienced an unimaginable loss. She lost her son Beckett to suicide back in 2018. And you started the Beckett Project. Tell us a little bit about that first.
Yeah, my husband and I wanted to do something to honor Beckett and to remember him. So we started the Beckett Project. I'm really proud of us. We've raised over $120,000. We've given $40,000 back directly to the community, and then the rest has gone into our endowment fund at the London Community Foundation. And we've supported, we've got 3 charities that we support every year, which is Mind Your Mind, which has online tools and resources for youth. El Sistema Aeolium, which is an intensive after-school music program that's free of charge, and National Service Dogs that provide dogs to veterans with PTSD and children with autism.
You're going in a different direction with a new fundraiser coming up on Saturday, starting at 3:30. It's called Beck's Haven. Tell us about Beck's Haven.
Okay. So through our work with the Beckett Project and just over the years, I just felt my heart going out to the people that were left behind. I realized how fortunate I was. I had family, friends, co-workers just kind of wrap themselves around me, protect me until I could take care of myself. But I know a lot of people don't have that. And I'm not speaking just specifically of suicide. It's just there's a lot of commonalities with grief. So this is a space that I want to create for everyone. With the focus being specifically on grief and joy, they can coexist.
I love that. And tell us about the event quickly that's happening on a Saturday afternoon.
So one of the things that I miss most about Beckett is his sense of humor. He was a really, really funny kid. So we always tried to plan kind of quirky, fun events. So this is a giant slingshot. So there'll be 16 teams competing. The winner of each round will go forward until we crown an ultimate winner. So
and you have lots of teams coming out. There'll be a dunk tank, ice cream, and all funds raised will support Beck's Haven.
Right, absolutely.
And where can people find out more?
You can go to thebecketproject.ca or you can go to beckshaven.ca.
All right, thank you so much, Anne, for joining us this evening. You have some great weather coming up this weekend as well. Temperatures across our area this afternoon, nice and warm in London, almost making that 23 degrees. I believe it's 22.7, but we round that one up. 19 to 20 degrees in Midwestern Ontario. High pressure, lots of sunshine and beautiful conditions as we head through the evening. Just a few clouds out there. Temperatures nice and cool and comfortable overnight. We'll have a bit of flux coming off the lake tonight, and that will lead to some low-level fog, but not expecting anything too dense, and some fog first thing in the morning if you are heading out early. Winds will be light and variable as we push toward midnight, 11 degrees, and single-digit temperatures overnight. Forecast low coming in at 9 degrees. Lots of sunshine and a summer-like weekend on the way. Summer hanging on in southern Ontario. I'll take you through the extended forecast. Just some absolutely spectacular weather for the next 4 days. Temperature-wise, we don't have any rain in the forecast this weekend, and lots of stability. I promise you, sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. I'll have all your local weather details live from downtown London coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Julie. Smoke filled the sky east of London yesterday as a drive shed went up in flames near Thamesford. John Smulders watched his father build the shed 45 years ago.
A lot of memories, you know, and I helped him do that. So it's just, it's a loss.
Smulders said the shed was filled with antique vehicles as well as farm and workshop equipment. He says the fire appears to have been caused by an electrical issue. The building was insured, but the contents were not. So Smulders says his only option will be to sell the metal for scrap. He's just grateful fire crews were able to prevent spread to other buildings, warning them about propane tanks nearby.
I said, oh, by the way, there's a trailer at the back with propane tanks, 4 of them. So I said, you guys best to get around there and get them cooled down and get them out of there, because it'll be a massive explosion.
A candlelight vigil was held last night for the victim of a fatal car crash earlier this week.
I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be.
Hundreds wept as family and friends of 17-year-old Gavin DeClark gathered to honor his life.
He wants you all to know that he loves everyone, And we want everybody to mourn in their own way.
DeClark's father addressed the mourning community at a vigil held at Medway High School Wednesday night.
I look around and I see everybody here and I feel so thankful for all of your support.
DeClark was killed in a violent crash north of London last week.
We want you to support each other like these great friends have done up here.
Friends saying their final goodbyes to the young man that impacted so many lives.
I hope he knows how much I loved him, how much he meant to me.
Me and him used to talk about what we'd do after high school. Me and him both wanted to enlist together, but we had different ways of going about it. I'd say I wanted to go to college. He would respond with, nah, I'm getting straight into it.
We looked up at the stars last night, found the brightest star, and we were like, yep, that's Gavin.
The crowd stood together lighting candles in memory of Gavin, a quiet tribute, speaking louder than words ever could. Every flame a reflection of grief, but also a promise that his spirit will be remembered forever.
I know that Gavin would want all of us to push through and stay together as one big family. And that's what we're going to do. We have to push through for him.
Following the recent court decision in the high-profile Hockey Canada sexual assault case, 2 local women's advocacy groups are calling for sweeping changes, demanding accountability from both the justice system and the NHL. Reta Ismail reports.
In the aftermath of the July 24th not guilty ruling in the Hockey Canada sexual assault case, 2 advocacy groups say Canada's legal and sports systems can do a better job of dealing with sexual assault allegations.
There were a number of statements that were made in the judgment that we felt we needed to respond to as advocates for survivors of sexual violence. And also, we want to be part of solutions. We want to be able to give those who are in positions of power and authority some good, strong, evidence-based suggestions on how we could make the legal process safer, stronger, and more just for everybody.
Jesse Roger of Anova and Jennifer Dunn of the London Abused Women's Centre are calling for urgent national reforms. In a joint statement, the 2 leaders outlined key demands, including transparency from Hockey Canada to release the investigation report.
For Hockey Canada to release their investigation would be really important for them to do. On top of that, with the NHL being the only professional sports organization that does not have a specific policy around sexual assault or intimate partner violence, they simply just need to do that.
They're also calling on the federal and provincial government to take action, including better judicial education on trauma and gender-based violence and reforms to courtroom practices that they say often re-traumatize survivors during cross-examination. Roger and Dunn say survivors can no longer afford to wait for systems to catch up, and that real justice must be grounded in evidence, compassion, and accountability.
We need widespread systemic change, and so we need to start somewhere, and out of the Hockey Canada verdict, this is where we're starting. Some really concrete examples on how to move forward.
The statement has already begun circulating among lawmakers and sport officials, with advocates hoping it sparks urgent dialogue and real reform. Reta Ismail, CTV News.
CTV News reached out to Hockey Canada and the Ministry of the Attorney General for comment. The government intends to introduce legislation making feminicide a first-degree offence and dealing with issues surrounding non-consensual sexual images. Already hindered by previous delays, the manslaughter trial looking into the death of a 15-month-old has reached another roadblock, with both the Crown and defense involved in legal arguments. Evidence in the case has been suspended as both sides argue over taped recordings. Roseanne Vandewiel, the mother of Nathaniel McClellan, met with doctors following the toddler's death. So far, they haven't made part of the court proceedings. The trial was originally slated for 4 weeks, and so far, Vandewiel has been the only witness called in the case, which started in early September. The young boy had been in the care of his babysitter in October of 2015 before he was rushed to hospital and eventually died from a head injury. 6 years later, the babysitter at the time, 46-year-old Megan Van Hoof, would be charged with manslaughter, pleading not guilty. Fanshawe College is postponing fall convocation ceremonies in London because of the ongoing OPSU strike. The college says the decision was made to give students, their families, and supporters enough time to adjust their plans. Ceremonies were scheduled for November. Grads are now being invited to take part in next year's June convocation. London police say Western homecoming celebrations last weekend put a major strain on resources. Police estimate up to 18,000 people attended unsanctioned street parties just off campus. That resulted in double the usual number of calls to 911. Paramedics had to transport 23 people to hospital, a 29% overall increase. 136 fines were issued for various offenses like nuisance parties, noise, and parking violations. An eyebrow-raising report suggests it might make financial sense to offer free parking in a pair of municipal lots in the Old East Village. CTV's Daryl Newcombe explains that the cost to collect parking payments will almost equal the revenue the city brings in.
Municipal parking lot number 1 between Queens and Dundas had been shortlisted for potential redevelopment into housing. But a new staff report recommends abandoning the plan based on feedback from stakeholders in the Old East Village regarding the lot's long-term role in the business district's revitalization.
The recommendations are not to proceed at this time. And we're not saying not never, but we're saying certainly not now.
The community consultation and analysis about redeveloping Lot 1 sparked a broader conversation about the future of Lots 1 and here in Lot 2, specifically around how much it actually costs the city to collect parking fees.
The machine is so damaged I can't read the screen, so I don't even know if it will accept my payment.
Frequently damaged, the 5 parking meters are scheduled for replacement this fall at a total cost of $75,000. Anticipated repairs and maintenance will add another $12,000 a year. That's only about $37,000 less than the annual parking revenue the lots bring in, so city staff suggest a pilot project offering free parking in lots 1 and 2.
Parking fees are a big deterrent to going anywhere, so I think free parking is important for building business and maintaining businesses.
We are continually bringing in new businesses, and some of the small businesses that are located now are expanding. It's certainly going to be of great benefit.
At Granny P's Superfoods, they like the idea of free parking behind their production facility, but add that the lot needs to be more welcoming.
Attract more traffic into the area. However, there has to also be a bit of a responsibility on the city for cleaning up and making sure that people are willing to park here.
Some other BIAs have free parking lots in front of businesses, and there's 1 hour of free parking on Dundas Place downtown. Morrison doesn't think the pilot project would prompt other BIAs to ask for similar treatment.
I'm not saying that other BIAs don't have those struggles, but they don't have the struggles that we have when it comes to the street crisis that we're dealing with every day.
Free parking would not be permitted overnight. The pilot project would be evaluated prior to its conclusion, March 31st, 2027. A council committee will consider the proposal October 7th. Daryl Newcombe, CTV News.
The London Food Bank launched its annual Thanksgiving food drive this morning, drawing attention to the growing impacts on young people facing food insecurity, as nearly a dozen municipalities declare a state of emergency.
It's not a natural disaster. It's not a hurricane, it's not flooding or anything else that would cause you to declare that as a state of emergency. It's an essential policy failure.
Pearson says a failure to address high housing costs and overall inflation is dramatically impacting kids, with 1 in 4 children in London facing food insecurity. He says it was 1 in 6 in 2022. Members of Young London, a community youth advocacy group, released initial analysis from a year-long research project. They say 12% of young people rely on the food bank and 45% skip meals 1 or 2 times a week. The full report is expected later in the fall.
Being a young person and just trying to navigate hormonal changes, developmental changes, figuring out your own identity and your place in society is hard enough. Never mind not having enough food, being constantly bombarded by the feelings of hunger, safety.
February, we dipped like 20%. And that month there was a lot of government supports. The Ontario government, for instance, had the one-time tax rebate that went out. When you see people get money in their pocket, the need is less here.
Coming up, Canada is investing in the military, and it will overhaul how the military buys its equipment. Plus, Canada condemns a deadly terror attack on a British synagogue.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
British police are calling it a terror attack on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. A man drove a car into a synagogue and began stabbing people. CTV's Heather Wright has more on the fear and heightened security at synagogues everywhere, including Canada.
On this, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, an attack at a synagogue. Police say a man wearing what appeared to be an explosive vest first drove a car into people gathered outside a temple in Manchester, England, then got out of his car and attacked others with a knife. He was then shot dead by police while trying to get inside the building. 2 people were killed, 4 others injured.
We shouldn't be scared to feel or believe in what we believe.
The attack has been deemed an act of terror and occurred in an area of Manchester home to many Orthodox Jews. It comes at a time of heightened fears in the Jewish community and rising anti-Semitism around the world. The man suspected of carrying out the attack has been identified as 35-year-old Jihad al-Shami. 3 other people have been arrested as well on suspicion of commission, preparation and instigation of acts of terrorism and remain in custody.
I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
Here at home, security has also increased outside of synagogues. Toronto Police announced last month they would increase patrols throughout the high holidays, as well as during the lead up to the 2-year anniversary of the Hamas attacks of October 7th.
Scary times, obviously, okay, and it's crazy. It's crazy. This cannot continue.
If you can always justify our murder, then it doesn't stop.
Today, Prime Minister Mark Carney called the Manchester synagogue attack an appalling anti-Semitic atrocity, vowing we will always protect the inalienable rights of Jewish communities to live their lives free from intimidation and threats of violence. And despite the increased security, there is a fear within the Jewish community, a concern that what happened in England could happen here. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
The federal government has officially launched a single procurement agency for its big defense purchases. The new Defense Investment Agency aims to cut red tape to get the Canadian Armed Forces the equipment it needs faster. CTV's Judy Trin is taking a closer look at what that means in the context of a trade war.
Of all the billions of dollars Canada spends on military equipment, 75% of it goes to suppliers in the United States. A former fighter pilot turned politician says the new Defense Investment Agency will change that.
We're not going to be spending 75 cents of our dollar south. We'll be amortizing that money out in Canada where we can, and then spending it in other places where we have to.
The agency aims to cut red tape and duplication. It will aim to prioritize selecting Canadian companies on big contracts valued at more than $100 million for equipment like drones, small arms, and shipbuilding. But there are no targets for how much less they want to spend on American weapons. The first major decision the agency will make involves procuring up to a dozen new submarines to replace Canada's aging fleet. But the minister says the purchase of more F-35s from the U.S. is still under review. Canada could buy fighter jets from Sweden instead.
There's no pressure on us to make a decision until we're ready to make a decision. We're a sovereign country.
The slow play comes as trade talks drag on. Before a Senate committee, the country's top negotiator tempered expectations.
Resolvable might mean going back to where we were a year ago. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I think we can be in a lot better position over time than we find ourselves in today.
The federal government also wants to use these big procurement contracts as leverage to encourage foreign companies to set up manufacturing here while increasing market access for Canadian companies overseas. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Julie Atchison joins us live now. Julie, you mentioned a big fundraising event coming up. What's the weather going to look like for that?
Yeah, it looks great. We have so much sunshine in the forecast this weekend. I think people are going to be out enjoying the weather, heading to the beach, Lauren, and really just taking advantage of another summer weekend. We have been fortunate. We've had some fantastic fall weather. It's felt like summer. Today, no exception, 22.7 degrees, coming in well above normal once again. It was nice and cool first thing in the morning. I had my windows open. It was beautiful. And it's gorgeous out here this evening. So nice to be downtown London. The pressure's at 102.7 and the winds on the hour are light out of the south at 13 kilometers. Winds will be variable and light as we head through the late evening. Skies are mainly clear. Satellite radar not showing you a whole lot. I haven't had a whole lot of weather to even talk about. We do have a little bit of rain. Look at northwestern Ontario, just north of Superior in advance of that front in that weak low. But we are strong high pressure, and that's where we'll stay heading into the weekend. So there's some warm air in through the Dakotas. As you can see, Nebraska, that warmth will slowly eject towards the Great Lakes. Today across the country, it's been fairly quiet. The only weather watches and warnings tonight are on the East Coast, and that's for frost advisories. Overnight, 9 degrees in London. We'll see some single digits towards KW, Mount Forest, and near the lake shores, double-digit temperatures. Going out 24 hours, again, no weather systems coming in, just high pressure at the surface and aloft. Northern Ontario, this is a little bit of rain that's riding on the top of that ridge, but it won't be able to make its way into southern Ontario. We'll just have a few fair weather clouds. Both Saturday and Sunday expecting sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud both days. We're going to kick it off Friday in style. Thanks, Helen, for this beautiful backdrop. Light winds through the afternoon and variable conditions in terms of our winds. They'll go generally out of the south. Forecast high coming in 27 degrees. Our metal roof outlet forecast over the next 7. I did check at some records Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we are going to get very close to records. Some of them are tomorrow's record back in 71 and Saturday's 1951. Daytime highs Sunday 27, mix of sun and cloud Monday, and then some rain coming in overnight Monday into Tuesday. So that's some showers. That's the cold front. And Wednesday, whoa, that's going to be a bit of a wake-up call. 16 degrees the forecast high. I'm almost going to say that's the official kickoff to the fall season, with fall weather arriving Wednesday and Thursday. Midwestern Ontario, enjoy your sunny day tomorrow. Absolutely beautiful, 25 degrees, 27 with a mix of sun and cloud Saturday and Sunday. Now, again, daytime high, normal for this time of year, 17, 18 degrees. So we're going to add 10 to that this weekend. It's cool weather still. Cloudy on Monday and then showers moving in Tuesday. That cold front's going to pack a punch. It'll be a game changer in terms of our temperature. We're back down to 15 to 16 degrees. Again, Bexhaven will be going on here Saturday afternoon at about 3:30, and definitely going to be a great event. A number of teams coming down. And Anne told me something before she left, and she said she wanted a community for people where grief and joy could survive together, and not only survive, but thrive. And that's what she's hoping Bexhaven will do for our community. And again, that's a Saturday afternoon right down here at Market Square. It is under construction right now. However, lots of things still happening downtown London. That's a wrap on your forecast tonight. I'll send things back to the newsroom. Lauren?
Thank you, Julie. As food prices continue to rise, the surprising answer to how much more you'll be spending on Thanksgiving dinner this year.
It's time to pack your bags. Starting tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., we kick off a brand new contest, the Pure Country Passport. This is your chance to score an all-inclusive vacation for 2 to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. The beach is calling your name, and keywords start, like I said, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Good luck.
The local real estate market continued its slump in September. According to the London and St. Thomas Realtors Association, only 534 homes changed hands last month, down from 616 in August. It's also a 6% drop in sales compared to September of last year. The average sale price last month fell to just under $623,000. Now to an annual tradition, the Thanksgiving price check. Turkey, potatoes, and all the fixins won't cost you much more this year, but that's only because they are already pretty expensive. CTV's Emma Convey looked at just how much your festive feast will set you back this year.
Seoul's Harbor Rescue Mission serves around 600 meals a day. On Thanksgiving, that number doubles.
In reality, at least at the downtown Halifax location, it's $6 a meal. And so we rely on the support of others to donate turkeys, to donate financially.
This team has offered free traditional Thanksgiving meals for 15 years. CEO Michelle Porter says as the demand climbs, so too do their grocery bills.
Turkey is so expensive that the average person is going to have a hard time buying a whole turkey. For us, we need the whole turkeys, but imagine how many it takes to do 1,200 to 1,500 meals.
2024 was an expensive year for food, according to Sylvain Charlebois with the Agri-Foods Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. This year, their annual cost analysis for Thanksgiving dinner found Canadians will pay about the same as last year.
The cost to feed 4 people at Thanksgiving with turkey, it will cost you about 18 cents more than last year. That's it. So, but if you're extremely careful, if you're not careful, you can spend more.
One factor could be pricing strategies. Grocers are discounting some items while increasing others like side dishes. Turkey has actually gone cheaper. The price dropped from $11.69 last year to $10.43 this year. Potatoes increased in price by $1 to $6.99 this year. And carrots went up in price from 91 cents in 2024 to $1.79 in 2025.
Most of it is tariff-free now since September 1st, which is good news, with the exception of steel and aluminum. So you want to stay away from cans.
These include items like cranberries and gravy, which have both gone up in price. Despite prices being more stable this year, for some, they're still simply not affordable.
Seniors definitely can't afford to. If it wasn't for places like Spencer House, I wouldn't be having Thanksgiving dinner.
Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Canada's main stock index reversed earlier losses today to finish in positive territory and continue its streak of record highs. In Toronto, the TSX gained 53 points, and in New York, the Dow added 79 and the Nasdaq is up 89. The Canadian dollar fell more than 1/10 cent, and on commodity markets, gold lost almost $30 an ounce and oil dropped $1.30 a barrel. Later on CTV News, the story of a Canadian man who found a lost Beatles recording and the path he took to ensure it got home.
5K a day is back on 97.5 Virgin Radio. Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
A portion of Highway 6 north of Wyerton was shut down for a fiery collision today. The crash resulted in a water truck catching fire. OPP say there are unknown injuries at this time, and the crash remains under investigation. A large section of Highway 6 remains closed. One of the biggest rural showcases in Canada is coming back to Bruce County. To mark the return of the International Plowing Match next summer, local farmers opened up their farms to the public. Scott Miller reports.
Jim and Donna Fisher were more than proud to show off their family maple syrup operation to the public as part of a recent farm tour promoting the International Plowing Match's return to Bruce County.
Very excited. We couldn't be more pumped in the sense Bruce County is home territory for us, and Brockton, the neighboring communities. It's all good, and just to be asked was just an honor just to participate.
7 Bruce County farms were on display to help kick off the lead up to next year's International Plowing Match that will be returning to Bruce County for the 4th time.
My dad plowed in the 1976 match, so this will be a 50th anniversary of it being in the same place 50 years later. So in Bruce County, we've had the privilege of hosting it 4 times, and that's quite an honor for us too.
The IPM has been showcasing agriculture for more than 120 years, featuring farming demos and plowing competitions. But in recent years, urban visitors have been going, getting their first and possibly only taste of rural life.
It's good how the urban public's very involved with it, and how it's getting more and more geared that
agriculture and urban can meet together and see how each interacts and the new technologies that are taking place. That's pretty cool.
The 2026 International Plowing Match will be located just outside of Walkerton on more than 1,200 acres of Bruce County farmland.
The whole thing has evolved, and we're trying to evolve with it. We're trying to bring this plow match to be one of the best ever. We're putting it back out on the farm.
The Fishes for One will definitely be there.
We both attended 2 plowing matches previous, the 76 and the 93. So 50 years later, here we are. And we're going to take the next generation, and they're pretty excited about it too.
Near Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Ball players from across the region will put on their cleats for a unique fundraiser this weekend. Cleats for Beats aims to raise money to purchase life-saving defibrillators for Huron County's numerous ball diamonds. 5 have been purchased through fundraising to date, with more hopefully funded through the 26-team tournament this weekend based in Seaforth.
It's important, like for people my age and older, like 50 and older, it's the chance of having a heart attack at a sporting event that, you know, when you play once or twice a week, it raises awareness and makes sure that we can help maybe save a life if we have to.
On our job site, we've had to use one once before, so I figure if you can save a life possibly by having it there, why not?
This is important because they're putting money into the community. We have diamonds in town that are run by service groups like the Optimist Club and the Lions Club, and they need all the support they can.
Hey there, we're getting excited for the weekend. I have my green on for the London Knights. We're joined by KP for mornings on 97.5 Virgin Radio. KP, who are the Knights playing this weekend?
The Flint Firebirds, and it's going to be a fun puck drop at 7 o'clock Friday night at Canada Life Place. So again, you're ready to go. I love this. You get some popcorn and a cold beverage, and we're good.
Absolutely. A number of markets going on in the community this weekend for you to get your shop on. Where are they, and tell us about them?
So we have the Fall Multicultural Market. That's happening at the Covent Garden Market. That's happening on Sunday. It kind of spans the morning through afternoon, so lots of time to go and check out some incredible vendors. Again, local makers, one-of-a-kind, unique finds. So definitely go, and it's cozy season, so maybe you can find some really cool sweaters and some jams and all the fun things. I'm excited.
All right, and there's the 1111 Market.
Yes, this one's at the Hellenic Centre, so just on Southdale in London. And again, a huge maker market, a lot of local moms and really incredible people all coming together to sell some of their really unique finds and goods.
All right, I love shopping local, so that's a great opportunity. 2 different spots. There's a Jack-o'-lantern almost festival going on. Where is this?
This is Pumpkins After Dark. So this is the first year ever it's in London. So every year it kind of moves to a different city, a different market, and it's been all over. But London, it is our year for this. There's over 10,000 hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns all lit up. You walk, it is kilometers long. So it really is pretty incredible. And they have really awesome features there too. So they have people in costume dressed up. I believe one of the nights is a pet night, so you can dress up your pet and bring them. There's a superhero night. It looks really, really fun. And again, a first time for London. So definitely go and check that one out too.
All right, the CIBC Run for the Cure is on this weekend. Where is this happening? And
Victoria Park. Yeah, so Sunday morning, if you want to go and check that out, or just cheer on the runners. I love it. Bust out the pink, of course, for a fantastic cause now that it is October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Definitely check that out at Victoria Park.
All right, and that is a Sunday morning. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time on the London List. Thanks, KP.
Tomorrow, descendants of a southern U.S. plantation will be visiting London this weekend, dealing with a painful past and confronting history head-on. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News.
We sure have had some beautiful sailing weather. Thank you so much, Gloria, for this photo taken on Lake St. Clair. Look at all those sailboats. We have some beautiful weather to be out on the water this weekend. Sunshine, light winds, beautiful conditions with a ridge of high pressure in place. Temperatures feeling summer-like right across the region. A cool down, though, on the way by Wednesday as some fall weather arrives to the area.
Ottawa has updated its travel advice for the United States with a cautionary note about gender-neutral passports. The advisory warns that while Canada issues passports with an X marker for people who don't identify as male or female, it cannot guarantee entry or transit through other countries, including the U.S., for travelers that use that designation. The statement goes on to warn that travelers may be asked to provide their gender information as either male or female. American President Donald Trump has set his sights on using the government shutdown as an opportunity to reshape the federal workforce and punish detractors. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says layoffs are approaching, and the Office of Management and Budget says it's putting a hold on roughly $18 billion of infrastructure funds for New York's subway and Hudson Tunnel projects. If the standoff extends later into October, federal workers who remain on the job will begin missing paychecks. The Congressional Budget Office estimates roughly 750,000 workers would be furloughed of any given day during the shutdown, resulting in a loss of $400 million in daily wages. The season of Stratford Festival is slowly winding down, but a new era is just beginning. The theater company has named their next artistic director, taking over for longtime leader Antoni Cimolino. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has more.
The Stratford Festival is setting the stage for a new lead.
So I'm Jonathan Church.
A dual UK-Canada citizen, Jonathan Church will be the theatre company's next artistic director.
At the moment, I'm artistic director designate, which means in just over a year's time, I'll be artistic director.
For the next few months, he'll be working alongside outgoing AD Antoni Cimolino, who's closing out a decades-long career both on stage and behind the scenes.
They are big shoes to fill, and Antoni's been with the company for a long time. I mean, the simple answer is I suppose I have to take the best of what Antoni can give me and bring the best of what I've learned and hope it's enough.
Church directed dozens of productions overseas. He's best known for his work at the Chichester Festival Theatre, a sister stage to the one in Stratford.
The mayor of Chichester saw a documentary about the Festival Theatre and rang up Tyrone Guthrie and said, I want to build one of these here in Chichester, and the rest was history.
Church also has history with the theatre company here.
I've been coming to Stratford for over 20 years. I've seen dozens of shows here.
The laureled conqueror, the mighty Roman!
I got to see the legendary Christopher Plummer do Caesar and Cleopatra.
What strength I have is mine own.
I also saw his Tempest, which is still, I think, the best version of the Tempest I've ever seen.
Let your indulgence set me free.
Church says he plans to draw from his past experience, but wants to put a spotlight on what the Stratford Festival has already established. That includes maintaining its American fan base and unifying theatergoers on both sides of the border.
Just because one person or one group of people in America are making a certain set of decisions doesn't mean that's how all Americans feel.
As for how Church feels about moving into his new role,
it'll be watch, learn, and let's start the amazing process of thinking about my first season.
Church will officially take his place as artistic director late next year, with the 2027 season being his first in his new role. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Stratford.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
When the owner of a Vancouver record store revealed he discovered a lost recording the Beatles made in 1962, it made headlines around the world. But instead of selling the valuable piece of music history, he gave the tape to one of the men who made it. CTV's Shannon Patterson now on an unforgettable meeting between the record store owner and his idol, Paul McCartney.
In the 44 years he's owned Neptune Records, Rob Frith has bought a lot of random music collections.
Someone came in about 10 years ago, and they had a couple of reel-to-reel tapes. And it just said Beatles early demos with a question mark.
Frith figured it was likely a bootleg copy, so it sat behind the desk at Neptune for a decade until this spring when he booked a studio that had a reel-to-reel player.
We put the tape on. We thought we'd be hearing like record noise or whatever, and it was like the Beatles were in the room with us.
He posted videos of the 15-song demo on Instagram, and the story blew up.
What we determined after researching everything and having it checked by professionals, we had the actual original master tape that the Beatles recorded January 1st, 1962. It was an audition tape for Decca Records.
It didn't take long for the story to reach Sir Paul McCartney, who invited Rob and his family to Los Angeles 2 weeks ago, where the Friths would give him the tape in person.
I was one that got to hand it over to him, and it was pretty wild. Just weird, kind of being like, and here it is.
This is stuff that Paul signed for us.
While the Friths were asked not to take photos of their meeting, Sir Paul did autograph some Beatles memorabilia for them.
We are looking at my signed copy of Sgt. Pepper's.
The family had lunch with the superstar and even sat in on a rehearsal session.
The four of us got to sit there and have a full set of Paul McCartney and his band playing, and we're the only ones in the audience in the rehearsal space. It was mind-blowing.
He came up behind my mom and goes, "Hi, Vicky, how are you today?" And I thought I saw her soul exit her body right about then.
The Friths know an original Beatles demo reel could have fetched a tidy sum at auction.
And then that tape would have sat in some millionaire or billionaire's basement, never to be looked at again. And, what good is it there?
What they got was better than money.
I got paid in that I got to meet Paul McCartney. That was good enough for me.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
That's it for us. For your latest local updates, you can always head to our website. Our next newscast is tonight after football. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.